The definition of passenger goes as follows: it is a person who is traveling in an automobile, bus, train, airplane, or any other convenience, especially one who is not the driver, pilot, or the like. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Subject 151, coming to you guys with another video. And on today's episode, I'm going to be doing a movie review. Kind of. It's not really going to be a review, it's more just going to be me rambling about it and give you my opinions on it. Spoilers ahead, just so you know. So if you haven't watched the movie Passengers, I suggest you get the fuck out of here because there's going to be some spoilers. Now, if you don't know anything about this movie, it was directed by Morton Tildum, and the writer was John Spite, I think. I can't pronounce his last name; it's very difficult. But it stars Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. Those are the two big names of the movie, and the two people that everybody really gives a damn about. The third actor really isn't that important, and he only shows up for like 15 minutes. But first of all, what I want to say is the movie was good. It was definitely good. I wouldn't say it was great, but I wouldn't say it was mediocre. It was a bit above like an average sci-fi movie. Uh, Unfortunately, it suffered some of the same mistakes that most sort of sci-fi romance movies suffer, and it was predictability. But let me start from the beginning. Basically, the movie starts out with Chris Pratt waking up 90 years too early in this spaceship, and everybody else is clearly asleep because he woke up way too early. And he basically just in the beginning is scared and terrified and doesn't know what to do and tries to get away. He tries to find a way to get back to cryosleep, but he doesn't manage to find any way, shape, or form to do so. And he sees this lady one day, and that's Jennifer Lawrence, or she's called, I think, Aurora something in the movie, which is a stupid name if you ask me. Like, it's just begging for attention. Aurora. Like, they're trying to sound scientific or sci fi ish, but that's just lame. Just give her a normal name, like Jim. Like, Chris Pratt's name was Jim. Don't name a female Jim, that'd be awkward. Just give her a normal human name, like, whatever. Anyways, he sees her and he starts reading about her and reading her books and because she's a writer in the movie and doing all these cool things and investigating into her. And the reason why he does this was I forgot to mention was because he got so lonely. He was almost a year and I think 3 weeks he was alone on the ship before he woke her up. He found a way to wake someone up from cryosleep and he sort of pretended that she just woke up on her own as he did. And basically, now, once he's woken her up, he starts to interact with her and fall in love with her. And he feels this great amount of guilt for basically killing her because he woke her up out of cryosleep. But he at the same time feels good because he's falling in love and he's feeling like he's not alone on this ship anymore. And he finally feels some human affection, which is what he's been searching for. And what we find out later in the movie, he's always been searching for, or at least we can assume so. Anyways, they sort of develop this romance where they go out, eat all the food they can, and just have fun in general until the robot or the bartender, I forgot, I think his name was Arthur, he reveals Chris Pratt's secret that he woke her up from cryo sleep. And she gets really mad and shit goes down and they don't talk for a couple of weeks or months or we don't know how much time passes by. And yeah, she sort of becomes bitchy and moody and all that. But the ship starts to go into some sort of like it starts to fail on them. That's the best way I can explain it. It was damaged, and that's why he woke up. But it also gets damaged so much that it begins to malfunction, and the robots that work there start to freak out, and uh, the gravity stops working, and things like that. Um, and then eventually, they attempt to figure out what's wrong, but they can't find anything because they can't get anywhere where it's really important. But then eventually, the captain, I think, or I'm not sure. I think he was the captain, but I'm not 100% on that. He wakes up, and then with his help, they figure out what's wrong. But the captain dies from a disease that was caused by his sleeping pod malfunctioning and not waking him up properly, and he dies pretty quickly. And then they have to sort of figure everything out on their own from there. Now, the reason why the ship was breaking down was because the main computer was damaged and they were running out of power and things like that. It's difficult to explain, and it's sort of it was sort of a shitty excuse on why the whole thing was malfunctioning, because it was just kind of it wasn't that interesting. But yeah, and there were some continuity issues that I faced with that scene, which I'll explain later. But basically, the movie ends on the fact that she manages to save him because he has to sacrifice himself to get this. What's it called? I think it was called an ion engine or something like that. But basically, or a fusion reactor. I'm sorry, it was a fusion reactor that was powering the ship, and he had to open up a gate through which all of the fire would come out of it, so that it could cool itself off. But for that, he had to stand in the flames, and he survives somehow magically by she reanimates him somehow with this auto med thingy, and they basically live happily ever after until they die on the ship. Now, I'm gonna first talk about things that I liked, and then I'm gonna talk about things I don't like about the movie. First thing that I really liked about the movie was Chris Pratt. I think he's just in general a pretty good actor. I like him in almost all of his movies, and I liked him in almost all of his series that he was in. He's just a great actor, in my opinion, and yeah, so that's automatically a plus for almost any movie which he's in. Second reason why I liked it was the movie was gorgeous. It was a really pretty movie. The first opening shot, if you watched it in 3D, is just amazing. And some of the shots where they go out of the spaceship and sort of look at the stars around them is just beautiful. I really liked those parts of the movie. They were just amazing, visually amazing. I really liked the feeling in the beginning of the movie when he wakes up and he's completely alone and there's no one around him, and he's just sort of, it's basically Castaway but in space. And I really like that theme and that feel of the movie. Uh, but But yeah, that was really the best part of the movie, the beginning, in my opinion. Also, I really liked the character of Arthur, the robot. He was quite. It's surprising he's a robot, but he had so much character to him, in my opinion. He was just really funny, really interesting. I liked him. I liked him a lot. So those are some of the good things about the movie. Also, another thing that's great about the movie is I like the sort of sense of humor that they had in the movie going. But that's pretty much it that was good about the movie. There was, unfortunately, many bad things that could have easily been avoided. First of them being the lack of romance in the movie. Now, not in literal romance, there was plenty of them making out and doing the dirty, but not enough of genuine romance. I just didn't feel like they had the perfect chemistry. I felt like they were sort of, it didn't feel like there was, it didn't feel real, like they were actually in love with each other. I don't know. I think Jennifer Lawrence's performance in this movie wasn't that great. It was okay, but I think Chris Pratt's character was just more well written, if I could say it like that, because Chris Pratt has all these layers, and he's a person, and he's got all these things and reasons why he's doing these things, and we just get more time with him. And Jennifer Lawrence is more or less there just so that we get some romance in the movie going. Another thing that really, really irritated me in the movie was when he's going to fix, well, not fix, but they're going to let out the heat out of that fusion reactor. It has to go through this long, narrow pipe, which he has to hold open because the button was broken or jammed or something, and he had to hold it open. And he was holding a door that he managed to get off of let's call it some sort of locker, by welding it off with a small little welder. He welded the door off and used it as a heat shield. Now, I'm assuming that welder burns pretty hot because since it melted steel and enabled him to rip it off. But I'm sure shit certain that it doesn't burn, that it burns a lot less than a fusion reactor. I'm almost certain that thing burns hotter than our goddamn sun. So that when she opened the reactor doors to let out all the heat out, he should have evaporated instantly. I get it that he had his suit on, and I guess the door could provide some protection from the heat, and that he is in outer space, so it's cooling off pretty quickly. But still, he should have just died instantly, and it would have been much cooler, honestly, if he died, and if it wasn't just a classical ending where everybody's happy and everything turns out great. Um, but yeah, uh, those are the things that I really didn't like. Basically, Jennifer Lawrence's performance, their chemistry wasn't that great, and that stupid scene near the end. Also, I didn't like how predictable the ending sequence was. If you watch it, you'll understand what I mean by predictability. And also, what I didn't like was uh, the movie was just so predictable. It was annoying. The end was just so expected, and we sort of get left off on a cliffhanger. Well, not a cliffhanger, but they basically drop to 88 years later to what the spaceship looks like, and it's all covered in plants and shit. And we don't get to see what they did for all those 88 years. We don't know anything. We just know that they built a bunch of trees, and that's just like, well, that's disappointing. Anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. The movie was in general good. If you're thinking about watching it, go watch it. It's pretty good. Especially visually. If you like visually pretty movies, I think it was well shot and well made. But just a few things. It fell into a few categories and sort of traits of the genre. But yeah, it was pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed my little mini rant. I wouldn't even call it a review since it's not very technical, but it was sort of a review, so I'll title it like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a nice day. Bye bye.